made it. I'm here. My wife is healthy. My son is healthy. I can say my son. I am thrilled. I was really frightened. I was just let us get home. Just let us get home. And my wife said, "Oh, you don't want to drive around a little bit? The weather's nice." And I said, "No, no, ma'am, I don't." She said, "Well, do you want me to drive your car? I can drive." I said, "Yeah, sure. I will let you drive my car. But then I know once you get behind the steering wheel, we will go straight home." The responsibility is incredible. You think you're prepared for all this. You know, you put out a registry, you ask people for stuff, people give you things, your community kind of responds. But then you realize it's almost like changing a diaper for the first time. You know, you never think about the things like, okay, where are the wipes? And how can I have them within arm's reach of the changing table all the time? Where are the diapers? And I put them here, and then I grab it, and I realize, oh, I'm if I leave them like this, I'm always going to grab them the wrong side up. Got to flip them over. Trying to get into a pattern, get into a routine, and realizing that we are all going to be adjusting. I pretty much have been in that mode for the past 24 hours, trying to see what sort of routines we can get into, what sort of rhythm can we hit. If he's crying, I can pick him up and hold him about a foot in front of my face and stare at him. And he will stare back. And he will get quiet. And I will talk to him and he will just look at me. And it's almost like a conversation. And we've done it a couple times now. In the middle of the night, baby screaming. You know he's been fed. You know he's been changed. Wife is trying to sleep. The neighbors are trying to sleep. And to be able to have that Zen moment of eye-to-eye contact with your own flesh and blood who can't even speak is amazing. My son has been acclimating to some semblance of a routine. He's been getting better with the late nights, even after a couple of days. Now, I am under no misperception that it's going to automatically, fall in line. It seems a little bit better. Hearing his cues, knowing what it means. In the middle of the night, is he just grunting to grunt, or is it the precursor to a full yell? I push the envelope sometimes, like at 4:45 this morning, when I was like, okay, I can wait. That sounded like it wasn't really urgent. Sure enough, he fell back to sleep and gave me another half an hour, and that was, I cherish that. I thank him for that. I washed my car. It was a great day outside. When we get back from the doctors, I'm gonna find some time to just run some water over my car or something, just to get some of the dust off, and I did. The really cool thing that he did yesterday was I was listening to some music, and after I was listening to the music, he was in the little seat contraption thingy, and he's sort of grunting in like a tone, and I grunt back in the same tone, and then I started to change the tone, like I would go up, and then he went up, and I went down, and he went down, and it was just grunts, but it was really cool. I'm adjusting to the new sleep schedule. It's holding. It seems like that is the way things are going to be. Like my wife takes the early part of the late night, and I take the early morning, and that it seems to work for him. It seems to work for the overlord. He seems to approve. And like this morning, I think she was kind of to the point where she's like, okay, it's now not my turn. So she was kind of awake as well, and I said, so she's a jokester. I said, all right, Pumpkin. Do I really need to get up and take care of you? And she says, what pumpkin are you talking about? And I said, I'm talking about the baby, but you okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm okay. He has taught me that our plan of changing his diaper first and then feeding him is not acceptable. Uh, if he wakes up and wants to be fed, feed him first, and then I change the diaper while he's groggy and he's, what do they call it, milk drunk or whatever. Then take advantage of that, and then I change him. And so that's what I did, and it worked like a charm. All I have to do is listen to my infant overlord. He tells me everything. He's not as vocal as I imagined a baby would be. But he does he looks a lot. Like I put something that's closer and larger and black against the white wall, and as he's rocking, sometimes you can just see him trying to track it, trying to focus on it, and it entertains him because it's new, and everything's new. His first trip was to meet his maternal grandmother. It was interesting. What we didn't think of was that being outside with a brand new baby in the bright daylight, people are going to see and they're going to want to come up. I had to be the one standing on the sidewalk with my back to where people are, and when someone comes close, I'm the one that has to hold up my head. Well, do you have a mask? Well, I think the sleep changes are starting to catch up with me. I'm running out of gas, I think, a little bit earlier in the day. I am pretty much ready to go to sleep. There's the confluence of other things in life between work and school and all of that. They're looking for me to prioritize them again. And so I am navigating all of that and trying to stay nimble and keep things moving. Like this morning, he was crying, and I got up at, I think it was like at 2:30 maybe, and I was so attuned to the fact that he was crying that I actually thought that it was my 5 o'clock time to get up, and my wife started to move, and I said, no, honey, I got it. And so I took him and I went, and it turns out that she was exhausted and needed the extra time, and so that's good. There's so much to do that it's easy to feel overwhelmed. And part of the difficulty for me as the father is that I'm also trying to help the mother. I'm trying to help my wife. You don't want to lay your burdens on your wife who's already feeling so much of her own. You kind of have to. You have to be honest with it, honest about it, and but I don't know if I'm doing it the right way or not. But I do know that the communication is important. It's amazing to say out loud that I am a father. It's like, wow, you're a pop. You're somebody's papa. And there's a magic in it when I think about it, and when I look at my son, everything feels like it's moving as it should be. And I have, I was going to say I have no complaints. I have complaints, but they are minimal. They are almost insignificant next to how well things are going. And it helps to put that into perspective.